Hi friend, in this video I'm going to be showing you the ultimate recipe to get glowing skin. Now in my last video, which you can find linked up here and in the description, I talked about how foods that are rich in carotenoids are really good for giving us that golden glow. So carotenoids are a type of plant nutrient that are very intensely coloured. They're sort of red, orange or yellow in coloration. And so we saw the research that showed that these carotenoids work our way from foods into our skin and give us a really healthy, attractive look. So pretty much every ingredient in the recipe I'm going to share with you today is loaded with carotenoids proven to give you amazing glowing skin. So if you put this recipe into your weekly meal rotation, you are likely to see significant improvements in the glow of your skin within just 4 to 6 weeks. So let's dive right in. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Dr. Ryan Williams, the founder of Growing Pure, where I help you make vegan cooking and health fast, simple, and mind-blowingly tasty. So let's get into this recipe. There's a couple of components here. The first one is we're going to make an awesome butternut squash mash with some fresh red chili layered in there too for that little bit of a spicy kick to our mash. Alongside that, we're going to saute some bell peppers, some sweet corn, and also some mango with a touch of cinnamon just to round out that flavor. This is going to be epic. And lastly, we're just going to finish it off on the plate with some raw spinach. This is one of the greens that's also really high in carotenoids. Now, if you want the full written recipe to make this yourself, there is a link to it in the description below. It's a free gift to you. So let's get going with our prep. Alright, brilliant. So now all of our prep and chopping is out of the way. It's actually quite quick to cook. So I've put my squash pieces alongside half a red chili that's sort of been roughly chopped into my steaming tower. So I'm going to steam these until they are soft and able to be mashed. So that should be around about 15 minutes, something like that. And then at the same time, I'm going to start cooking my peppers. So we want to go for a reasonably low and slow approach with these peppers, give chance for a little bit of caramelization to happen. We want them to just sweeten up a little bit. And then we can put in some sweet corn and also our beautiful mango. So lovely ripe mangoes you want for this recipe. They're going to add a fantastic sweetness. It's going to be delicious. So let's get going on the cooking. All right, so I'm about to start steaming this awesome butternut squash. So I've got my steaming pan full of boiling water, and then I've got a 2-layer steaming tower here. And I've just got the butternut squash, and you can see I've also put my chili in there as well, so that can just steam along with it all, that's fine. So I've got 2 layers. I'll probably need to rotate these halfway through, because otherwise the bottom one will probably cook faster than the top one. So we can start our steaming. Put that down on there, lid on. We don't want the heat to be too low when we're steaming because we want to generate enough steam to cook everything. So we want to keep a reasonably vigorous boil going. All right, so my frying pan's nicely heated up. So let's go in with our pepper. So it's sizzling away quite happily at this point, which actually I think is fine. I'm pretty happy for it to even slightly char a little at this stage, because that's going to introduce some really lovely caramelized flavors into our peppers. So we'll give the peppers perhaps 10 minutes on their own before we think about introducing our sweet corn and mango. At this point, one thing we are going to want to do is just season with a little bit of salt and some pepper. I'll just take a look here. We're getting some of that wonderful charring and caramelization happening. Now if it starts to blacken too much, you can just turn down the heat a little bit, but right now I'm still happy with that. We want to inject as much flavor through our cooking techniques as we can into a recipe like this. If it does start to stick or catch a little bit. Ideally you'd use a non-stick pan, but I just splash in just a little bit of water just like that every now and then. So we'll just keep cooking down these peppers. They're still just a little bit firm at this point. So you'll be able to see when they're cooked to the extent that we want them to be in this recipe, because they'll get kind of floppy. At the moment, you can see they're still kind of quite firm. Once they get a bit floppier, that's when we know they'll be cooked sufficiently. My 15-minute timer has just gone off on my squash. So let's have a little look and see how cooked they are. So all I'm going to do just to check whether they're cooked is just prod them with a sharp knife, and I can already feel that that is definitely not cooked yet. Yeah, they need quite a bit longer. This was a particularly large squash, so they're going to need quite a while yet. So I'll keep these squash steaming away and just keep checking every 5 to 10 minutes. I'll know they're ready when you sort of prod them and there is almost no resistance. The knife just glides through, and then you'll know that when you start to mash it, it'll be really easy. All right, so you can see these peppers have cooked down really beautifully now. There's some lovely caramelization on there and they're looking perfect. So at this point, I'm happy to add in the other sort of much wetter ingredients that don't really need cooking per se, but they just need kind of heating through. So first up, I have 2 cups of frozen sweet corn, another super high carotenoid food, like everything in this. And at this point, I'm also going to add in my mango. So we don't want a high heat at this point, keep it reasonably low and steady. And the last thing I'm going to add at this time is just some cinnamon. I'm just going to sprinkle in a little bit of cinnamon. I think that'll work really, really nicely. You can see I just eyeballed that, but maybe that's half a teaspoon, something like that. So now just let all of this cook down. All right, so my peppers, sweet corn and mango are all cooked through perfectly now. So it's really just a matter of keeping them warm in here, just on a very low heat until we're ready to serve. It's kind of like a Caribbean style feel as I'm making it. You know, the fruitiness of the mango and that lovely cinnamon in there. Really, really nice. I can't wait to try this. And now I also think my squash should be perfectly well cooked as well now. So let's give this a try. Yeah, that knife just goes through there really easily. So I'm sure this will be easily mashable at this point. Okay, so my squash is ready to be mashed. The only other ingredient that I want to put in here is just a little bit of salt, touch of pepper, and then just add a nice creamy consistency. I'm going to dollop in some plant-based yogurt as well. I find that when you're making a mash, it can be really nice to have something like this that just adds in that really great texture, but without adding loads of fat into it. So a few spoonfuls should be fine, and we can get mashing. All right, brilliant. So that consistency is looking really good to me. I like the look of that. So, I mean, I prefer my mash not to be totally smooth. I think a little bit of bite in there is quite nice. Otherwise, it gets a little bit baby foody. What I will do at this stage is just give it a little taste, see if we need to adjust the seasoning at all. Oh, that's really, really good. A little hint of chili comes through really nicely. I think the seasoning is right, actually. I don't think it needs any changes. All right, all that's left to do is get this plated up. Okay, I am so ready to plate up this awesome glowing skin masterpiece meal. There are some really cool flavors going on here. It's kind of sweet, but not sickly. It's not like a dessert, but there's a lot of natural sweetness in many of these things that we've cooked here. But it's sort of tempered with some other more savory flavors. We're also, because of the squash and the corn, we're getting some sustenance, there's some starch in there. So we're not gonna just have a plate of vegetables and then feel really hungry. We're gonna get full and satiated as well. So without further ado, let's go and do this. A little bit of our mango, pepper and corn mix. Now let's plate on a little bit of our slightly spicy chili and butternut squash mash. So I'm just placing up one plate here, but this is enough for 4 people. And then let's just finish it off with just a few fresh green spinach leaves. Another awesome high carotenoid food. And there we have it. Let's have a little look at it. What a beautiful, colourful recipe this is, and ideal for getting that golden glow in our skin. We've got the science that shows that these are the foods that are going to give you that lovely warm glow that's going to make you look really healthy and attractive. Now, I cannot wait any longer. I've got to give this a proper taste. Okay, let's start with this amazing squash mash with the chilies running through it. Oh my word, that's really, really tasty. Squash has quite a lot of natural sweetness in it, and that's coming through there. And that lovely little kiss of warming spice. If you're not a fan of spice, feel free to leave it out. It'll taste great either way. But if you just like a little bit of warming spice, a little bit of chili, absolutely ideal. Okay, and now the corn, pepper, and mango. Let's give this a taste as well. Oh, that is fabulous. The flavors there are unreal. There's amazing sweetness from that mango, but there's chew, there's bite. It's a great, great part of the meal. When I was dreaming up this recipe, I kind of thought, mango, is that a little bit risque? Is that going to go too far? I am so glad I've done it right now because that really hits the spot. So if you want to make sure you're getting these carotenoid foods into your diet, go away and try this recipe. The full written recipe, as I said, in the description below, it is all yours. Now, friend, there is one more thing I would like to mention to you. I am opening up a few slots for one-on-one coaching. So if you would like help with your vegan food, cooking, or health, you want to get your health on track, you want to improve your food in your plant-based kitchen, I would love to help you. If you are interested, there is a link in the description below. Now, I have loved putting this recipe together and making it for you. I hope it has brought some entertainment and value to you. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.